Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. Today, the day has finally come where every NFL team has to make their 53-man roster. And so, a lot of third and fourth string quarterbacks have been released. In fact, there's only 2 fourth string quarterbacks left. And one of them's Josh Rosen, who was signed by the Falcons because A.J. McCarron's on injury reserve. So technically, there's only one, which is Joshua Dobbs. Anyways, there's one person that got released that stood out above all others. Cam Newton. Cam Newton was released by the New England Patriots. Yes, you heard me correctly. Cam Newton was released by the New England Patriots. Now, first the news came out that Mac Jones will be the Week 1 starter. And honestly, it wasn't shocking because Mac Jones has been the better quarterback throughout preseason. But it was a bit surprising because Bill Belichick's not the type of person to just throw someone in the fire. He likes to slowly integrate them into the system. But Bill Belichick is a genius, and he knows what's best for his team. So I think we should just all trust him on this. What was more surprising that came a couple minutes later is that Cam Newton was being released by the Patriots. Now, it was surprising because you always want to have a good veteran in your locker room. Even if Cam Newton wasn't going to start, he could have mentored Mac Jones off the field still throughout the season. But there were multiple factors leading to his release. First of all, they had Brian Hoyer, who was also not quite as good as Cam Newton, but still reliable veteran. But the bigger thing is that Cam Newton broke COVID protocol and got COVID twice. 2 times. And he refuses to get vaccinated. So I think that might play a factor in why Bill Belichick might have just gone, yeah, no, let's just cut him. Also, Cam Newton's seeming like a bit of a cancer in the locker room. He doesn't seem like the mentor people are trying to get him to be. So, I can see why they released him overall. As I mentioned, they had Brian Hoyer, who is another reliable backup, and he's also a veteran. He could have mentored Mac Jones. He's 36, he's done quite a bit throughout the NFL. But he would not take over the start job, so it wouldn't feel for Mac Jones like he has to, like he's being taken over by Cam Newton. Because Brian Hoyer would never be able to take it from Mac Jones. No offense. Anyways, couple minutes later, Brian Hoyer was also released. So the Patriots need to get a new backup now, because Jarrett Stidham is their only other option. And Jarrett Stidham will be out till week 8, because he had back surgery. So just picture this. Mac Jones tears his ACL week 1. He's going to be out for the whole season. That could happen. I mean, it's highly unlikely. The Patriots have a really good offensive line, even without Joe Thuney. But it's possible. So you want to have a good option. It's most likely that they're going to re-sign Brian Hoyer. Because, as I mentioned, he's a reliable veteran in this league. He's done quite a bit, but he can't take the starting job from Mac Jones. But a couple other people they could get is possibly Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles is still a free agent. He's not necessarily a bad quarterback, I mean, he is a bad quarterback, but he's not a terrible quarterback. So I could see the Patriots going and signing Blake Bortles as a backup to Mac Jones. Another option is Trevor Siemian, because he'd be a cheap option, easy grab. He could stay there, but he probably wouldn't be used, because Mac Jones probably won't be out. So, yeah, that seems like the best option, I think, after Brian Hoyer. But they could also, like many teams right now, try and trade for Nick Foles. Seems like a lot of teams want Nick Foles. I mean, he is a good quarterback still. And he's got 2 better quarterbacks on his team. So it makes sense. Still, a lot of teams, like the Colts, Jets, the Bengals, the Cowboys, really anyone that needs a backup quarterback. So I don't think that's very likely given how many other people want Nick Foles. But it is possible. Now, Cam Newton could go to quite a few different places. But here are the front runners. So, the Ravens. It would make a bit of sense for the Ravens to get Cam Newton. They seem to really like having really good scrambling quarterbacks. Just like a year ago, they had Robert Griffin and Lamar Jackson. Now they have Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton. But the issue I find is Cam Newton is injury prone. And Lamar Jackson's destined to get injured sometime soon. So, if Lamar Jackson gets injured, there's a chance that Cam Newton could also get injured. And then that leaves Tyler Huntley on their depth chart, who's not a terrible quarterback, but he's not going to be getting them into the playoffs very well. That would be their defense. So, I think the Ravens should sign someone, but more like the options the Patriots are looking at, not Cam Newton. Another option is the Cowboys, because they need a backup quarterback, as I've mentioned multiple times in the past couple days. And Cam Newton seems like a good solution for them, honestly, now that I look at it. They released Garrett Gilbert and Ben DiNucci today, so that leaves Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is not going to get them to the playoffs at all. And the problem is, unlike the Ravens, they don't have a good defense to rely on the same way. But Cam Newton could technically get them almost as far as Dak Prescott would. So, that one I could actually really see happening. I think that makes the most sense. Now, people keep saying that the Texans should sign Cam Newton. I don't think that should happen because, look at it. They have Tyrod Taylor, who's a good backup, and who's most likely to start this year. If you brought in Cam Newton, he's not that much better than Tyrod Taylor. So, Cam Newton and Tyrod Taylor are pretty much the same level. Why would you want both of those quarterbacks? Also, Cam Newton could get injured, which would just bring more woes to the Texans. Assuming it's going to be a terrible season. Now, other people are saying Washington makes perfect sense. And it would. Next year. Or before free agency. But not this year. Because you see, Cam Newton probably isn't the future of a team. Neither is Ryan Fitzpatrick. What the Washington's counting on is that Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen will step up and take the starting job. And that could happen, but it would kind of make sense to have Cam Newton, who's a better quarterback, on that roster. But they have Ryan Fitzpatrick. So they're not going to go and release Ryan Fitzpatrick now, after all of this. And there would be absolutely no point in having Ryan Fitzpatrick and Cam Newton. So I really do think it's going to be the Ravens or the Cowboys that go to sign Newton. Now, just before I go, I'm going to just show you this hilarious video of Cam Newton chasing down Mac Jones for a high five. Thanks for watching.